Hello everyone! In this video I am exploring the abandoned Pacific extension of the Milwaukee Road in the eastern part of Montana, from Terry to Loweth. Most of this line was abandoned in 1980, some of it in the mid-80s, after the company fell into bankruptcy. I will be checking out ghost towns, historical places, and some infrastructure that still remains. So let's begin. The line from North Dakota border to Terry, Montana was taken over by the BNSF and is still in use. Near Terry, the lines crossed each other. The top bridge was the Milwaukee Road and they merge here. The company was formed in 1847 as the Milwaukee and Waukesha Railroad. In Terry, there's a museum with this classic, amazing caboose. Terry was incorporated as a town in 1910. And Terry was a two-railroad town. The Northern Pacific Railroad transcontinental line came here in 1881. This is the grading for the Milwaukee Road. The other rail line is still in use by the BNSF. The town is surrounded by the Terry Badlands Wilderness Study Area. It's a really pretty place to visit. Just west of Terry is the Calypso Railroad Bridge. It was built in 1907, but it was abandoned in 1985. Volunteers converted it into a one-lane automobile bridge. The bridge crosses the Yellowstone River. After the company absorbed a bunch of other railroads, the Pacific Extension was approved in 1905, and construction to Seattle and Tacoma lasted from 1906 until 1909. Our next stop is the site of the 1938 Custer Creek train wreck. I'm not just Montana's biggest fan. I lived here when I was a kid in the 80s, and I remember learning about this disaster. This is my first time being here. The train wreck occurred on June 19, 1938, just after midnight, when the Milwaukee Road's Olympian passenger train crossed the bridge over Custer Creek. The disaster was caused by a sudden cloudburst that triggered a flash flood, washing away the foundations of the railroad bridge and causing it to collapse beneath the train. 7 of the 11 cars derailed and plunged into the creek. 47 people perished. There were approximately 155 to 175 passengers and crew aboard the train. It remains Montana's deadliest rail accident. This bridge was constructed in 1942. This would have been the view of the engineer. Our next stop is the Kinsey Bridge. This was also built in 1907. And this bridge too has been converted into automobile traffic. In 2023, it went through a major rehabilitation project to replace the deteriorating deck. And at this point you can also see the current BNSF main line. And it looks like it's a great place for fishing. Next, we're going to head to Miles City. This was an important city for the Milwaukee Railroad. It was founded in 1876, and there's about 5 miles of Milwaukee Road track that are still in use. The Northern Pacific Railroad also reached this town in 1881. And this is the site of where all the shops were. In the 1934 film Danger Lights, most of it was filmed in Miles City, and you can see this shop in the background.
Over this way, over this way. Oh, Mr. Thorne, this is an extremely dangerous spot. Right here. Get over there.
Most of the tracks that hosted the Milwaukee Road are used for car storage. You can also see a couple grain elevators that are not in use anymore. And there's the former Miles City train station. It is now used by another business. Miles City is also a fascinating town to visit. I always enjoy coming here. Once we leave Miles City, we're now in an area north of the Yellowstone River where there isn't that much to see. This part of the railroad was abandoned in 1980. Most of the stops, like this town Thurlow, they weren't that big and didn't have much of a population, but it is a pretty area to visit. The post office was established here in 1915 but was discontinued in 1942. Next we'll stop at Forsyth, Montana. It was founded in 1882. The Milwaukee Road was built across the river from the town, so it never actually had much service here. They did, however, build a pedestrian bridge which they are now trying to restore. Once you leave Forsyth, you are now in what I consider to be some of the loneliest parts in Montana. It's still very scenic, but there's not a lot of services. The first place we're going to visit is the ghost town of Anata. No one lives here anymore. Some of these towns in this video I've covered in different Montana ghost town videos before, but because of my new obsession with the Milwaukee Road, I'm covering this town again. It was formed as a station stop for the Milwaukee Road. One of my favorite buildings in the entire state is that old school. Once the abandonment of the rail line through town, it accelerated the town's transformation into a ghost town. The entire place is now marked no trespassing. Just a little further up the highway is the semi-ghost town of Ingomar, Montana. This was established in 1908. This Milwaukee Road tender was left behind as a tribute. By 1910, the town had grown to 46 businesses, but a fire ravaged much of the town in 1921. The former school has been preserved, and it's on the National Register of Historic Places. Most of the buildings in town have been abandoned. And it would appear this is an authentic wooden sidewalk. The historic Jersey Lily Bar and Cafe was built in 1914. It was originally a bank. Now we're going to make our way towards Roundup, and here is where the scenery changes. It's a mixture of farming and badlands. It's really pretty, and along the way there's this abandoned grain elevator. And then a little further up the highway, I came across what looks like to be an abandoned store or a warehouse. I couldn't find any information about what it was. It's a pretty large building, and it was right across the road from the train tracks. If anybody knows what this was, please leave it in the comment section below. Our next stop is Roundup. I go to this town a lot. I live in Saskatchewan, but when I fly to my family in Texas and Ohio, I use the Billings Airport. The first post office opened here in 1883. The Milwaukee Road opened in 1907. The town was incorporated in 1909. There was also lots of coal mines in the area. It doesn't seem that the closing of the Milwaukee Road affected this town at all. It's still very vibrant and modern. Our next stop is Lavina, Montana. It was founded in 1882. The first passenger train arrived in 1908. By 1910, the town boasted 46 businesses. And on the busy main street, you can see a lot of the buildings. Most of them are not in use anymore. The Adams Hotel was completed in 1908 for $20,000. It is one of the more grandiose hotels you're going to see in small town Montana. Our next stop is Barber, Montana. It was founded in 1910 as a whistle stop along the railroad. This is the spot where the train used to pass. On both sides, it is now a private road. This was a private residence, but now it looks like it's someone's private camping spot. To my surprise, I learned that the store, the bank, and the church were still in use until the 80s. As you can see, this building's in very bad shape now. This was the bank vault from the bank. Next, we'll go to the city of Harlowton. This town has a rich history with the Milwaukee Road. This is a massive grain elevator that's been abandoned for a long time. Not only did the Pacific Extension pass through town, but some branch lines headed north, which I'll cover in a different video. The town also happens to have a really cool museum. It's at the former train station. It was closed today, but there's still plenty of things to see outside. The passenger depot was built in 1908. In the 70s, Milwaukee Road was facing some financial crisis. It was losing money, and once again the company fell into bankruptcy. This is what resulted in the Pacific Extension being shut down in 1980 west of Miles City. And here's another tender. The next place is 2 Montana. It's a small town. It was founded in 1900. They also have a mini museum display right in the center of town. One of my favorite buildings on the entire route is this bank. By 1912, 2 had a population of 240 people. The post office also changed the name of the town from 2 as one word to 2 as two separate words. I'm not sure if this bar is still in service, but I was told that it was famous at one point, and maybe it still is. Next, we're going to visit Lennep. This is a real ghost town. It was named after the German town of Lennep by the railroad company. The former store now seems to be where the post office drops the mail. It's also just south of the really cool ghost town of Castleton. I really like the former school. It looks like it had been recently in use because there's a satellite attached to it. Maybe it was used as a community hall. And this was likely the house that the teacher used to live in. It too has a satellite dish attached. And finally, we're going to make our way to Loweth. This part was considered one of the most desolate substation locations by the Milwaukee Road operators. The electric operations ended in 1974. That's when the Milwaukee Road started using diesel engines. The grading was upgraded in 1956. You can see the original grading on the other side of the substation. I will be doing another video on the western part of the Milwaukee Road next, as well as some of the branch lines. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm really glad you came along. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. And until next time, thank you.